All right, everybody's going down. We see that that I'm gonna put this right. That Chicago is the next city. From DC to Chicago. They're going in, guys. Setting up. I think it's gonna be at the Navy Yard. The mayor, governor of Chicago don't want them to come, but they're coming anyway. So, nevertheless, be prepared. It's a movement. Um, Chicago's on the radar. They said they're coming in next week. The president says he's coming in next week. We'll see what's happening. So Chicago, get ready, get prepared, people. They're gonna clean up all the crime in the city. Uh, it's much needed. This last weekend, so many people got killed in Chicago. Kids got killed. It's crazy. Chicago's off the hook. And they're trying to act like the mayor, trying to act like it ain't nothing going on. Brandon Johnson, I don't know about you, buddy. Uh, I thought you was a cool guy, but man, you seem to be looking at different stats than we were looking at. But nevertheless, let's look what the media have to say.
Our Illinois lawmakers continue to push back against President Trump sending the National Guard to Chicago. Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson, very unpopular, saying this, quote, "I urge our federal government to listen to the advocates, experts, and Chicagoans who are calling for resources that stop the endless flow of guns, and as well as transformational investing in housing, education, mental health, and community safety. These are the same investments that are leading to historic reductions in crime and violence throughout the recent years." But take a look at this timeline over the weekend where the city saw 36 shootings that left 6 people dead. That's progress. We're joined now by Kata Truss. She's a longtime Chicago resident and community roundtable director. So what the mayor's pointing to is murder being down 50%, robbery being down 50%. But there are some really disturbing numbers when it comes to carjacking and other areas, like burglary being up, felony theft being up 46%, misdemeanor theft up 61%, and motor vehicle theft 80%. So, Kata, tell me
All right, guys, I gotta stay right here. Come on, now you're gonna hear from a Chicagoan. Now, all these media, Fox, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, uh, they all didn't have residents talk about what's going on. Now we got Chicago. They was talking about they're a group that's called Flip Chicago Red. They're talking about community leaders coming on different news, high-profile government, nonprofit organization, preachers, community. Now you're going to hear from a long time, all their life resident of Chicago, talk about what's happening in Chicago. And you tell me you don't need Trump to come in there. Come on, man. I don't know what stats Brandon Johnson listened at, but listen to a resident on the streets.
do you guys need help?
We absolutely need help. And I've been a Chicago resident all my life. I live in the Austin community where I've lived for the last 40 years. Earlier this year, my husband was carjacked right in front of our house. And so if you ask me, if you ask any victim of a violent crime, how they feel about crime in the city of Chicago, any of us will tell you that we are not safe, that we don't feel safe. We don't feel that our police department is doing enough. And whether it's because of resources or the amount of money that the city is spending or has to spend on violence prevention, I can't necessarily speak to that. I'm sure that.
Yeah, I would be scared too. Approximately three dozen people have been shot. So many have been killed just this weekend. What do you think is happening in Chicago? They need something to go down in Chicago. They need some support in that city. It's crazy over there. Most Americans know Chicago is on a map with these robberies, car thefts, shootings. They come into influential neighborhoods. They don't care. It's ruthless over there. They need support. But let's continue to listen to what this longtime resident, had to say.
More money would help, but I'm not even sure if I want to see more money come here, considering the misuse of the monies that this government has had thus far. I also saw a video of Governor Pritzker walking along the lakefront in the city of Chicago, talking about how peaceful it was. But I urge him, walk down 79th Street, walk down Chicago Avenue, walk down.
Did y'all just see just a second ago? The guy had a gun at the clerk, the sales clerk, the cashier, and it's like, man, nobody want to. Man, I don't know. I'm sorry, 1 and 2 on myself. If someone did like that, pull a gun on me like that, I'm not used to nothing like this. This is crazy. And she's talking about the south side of Chicago right now. And I'm hearing people from the west side and south side. I'm the main, all of Chicago is big, but them are where a lot of crime has happened. It's crazy. I just, did you see the guy with the gun?
On Central Avenue where I live, and then tell me that you feel the same way. Or more importantly, Governor Pritzker and Brandon Johnson both have security details. If Chicago is so safe, as I heard Brandon Johnson say a couple of weeks ago, Chicago was one of the safest cities in America, why do you have a security detail? Why don't you get rid of it? Brandon Johnson was a strong component for defunding the police before he became mayor. I don't see him talking about that now. Those talking points are not a part of what you hear him
Say local residents. No. Now we get to hear the residents. Yeah, I saw Brandon Johnson on the news, on another news. This man had like 6 security details around him. I don't know if there's all. He was walking across the street. Of course, he's not going to see no crime. Of course, no crime going to be around the mayor. You're the mayor of one of the most violent cities in America. Quite naturally, there will be no crime if you see the detail that he's had with him. I forgot what news channel affiliate I was watching him on, but he was crossing the street in downtown Chicago. And man, he had all this detail. Of course, you're super safe, dude. You're not living in this. You're living in a bubble, bro. You're not living like the West Side. And when you come out there, you got your detail with you. So they're gonna have security, Chicago police, CPD out there anywhere you go. Yes, in that perspective, he's telling the truth. It's safe in his world, but for the residents of that city, it's different.
saying. And so also talk to those people, those business owners who are being robbed weekly and are afraid to open their businesses, don't know if their business are going to be able to survive because they're constantly being robbed. Ask those people how they feel about crime here in Chicago. Ask those 3 senior citizens who were gunned down in front of their senior building a couple of weeks ago, how they feel about violent crime in the city of Chicago. And so for our elected officials to stand and to say that the city is safe and that the crime is not that bad is a myth. Also, I looked at a study.
Yeah.
This is crazy, guys. See, when you talk to the residents, you get to see the bigger picture. You get to see what's really going on, not from a political or news affiliate. Like anything, you can find pro and cons, but I'm seeing more people, residents, talking about they would love to see more, like in DC, more high profile officers, uh, National Guard there, and maybe they would deter and slow down the crime, and maybe they can get more these criminals, hardened criminals, off the streets of Chicago, and into their where they really want to be, because they don't seem like they want to do nothing for the community. And when you're making people don't want to have a business in Chicago, and if it comes a high flow of businesses like in downtown Seattle that's flooded out and left because of they're not supported by the city council, by the mayor, and their taxes and all this stuff's going up. So quite naturally, they will leave. You don't want that in Chicago. Chicago is one of the main cities in the United States. It's on a map like New York City, LA, Miami, Seattle, San Francisco, DC. So it's a popular city that it's a tourist attraction. So we don't want this to happen. We want to keep Chicago vibrant and a very respectable city inside the United States. Let's finish on what the newspaper had to say right now.
She just dropped off. We're going to get her back in a second. She doesn't even need me here. I can understand how excited and how upset she is when someone says everything's safe and your husband was carjacked a few weeks ago. Someone says someone's safe. Take a look at this. This is Chicago's weekend shootings. I just want you to say, look, see the yellow dots? Those are all the shootings took place, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10:15. This guy's telling everybody he's safe, and the red dots are the deaths, the shootings that result in the deaths. They are between 12 to 13,000 more cops. They need 12 to 13,000 more, and he's refusing free help from the federal government. Incredible. I'm Steve Doocy. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here.
Guys, you think it's not real? It's going down. What do you think? They don't need more officers? Well, hey, We look like it looks like it's going to happen regardless with them or without them, because this president is not playing. We're going to see this president is not playing.
Hey Rails developer, ever ask your AI agent to modify
This president is
The same way, or
this president is sincere. Uh, so we're going to see what's going on. 1 second. He's really moving in next week. He said he's coming. He's coming. They got the Navy base, I think.
And welcome back. As Illinois lawmakers demand President Trump keep the National Guard out of Chicago, the administration has requested a military base in the state support immigration operations. On the issue of federal takeovers, Washington, D.C.'s Democratic Mayor Muriel Bowser, who had criticized President Trump's use of the military in policing the district, had some unexpected praise for the heavy law enforcement yesterday.
This federal surge has had a significant increase on crime in Washington, D.C. And we greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in this city.
And earlier, I spoke to the Illinois Lieutenant.
This is what coming to Chicago. The same infrastructural setup on dealing with this high crime. Guys, so many people got killed over the weekend. There's so many people got shot. Come on, man. What's going on out here? What's going on? And the mayor keeps saying they don't need no help. You're not controlling, throwing money at something when you don't have enough bodies to support the infrastructure of the city of Chicago. And these crimes are going just outrate. And there's nothing really being done. There's been basically a turnstile where they go in and go right back out and terrorize the communities of Chicago. This coming from the residents. You just heard the residents talk about it. Come on, guys. There got to be something done out here. And the president administration and the DOJ is about to do it with the National Guard. Here we go.
Governor Juliana Stratton on the president's threats to deploy the National Guard to Illinois and about immigration. I want to start by asking about what you think about this news that the Trump administration wants to use a military base near Chicago to help with deportations. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, this is an example of Donald Trump trying to manufacture chaos here in Chicago and the state of Illinois. And it's a real example of him trying to normalize a military presence on American soil. It is not normal. We have spoken out very clearly here.
Here's another one. It is normal. There's always been Hurricane Katrina, military base, different in the 60s. You trying to act like it never happened in America. LA. It's happening right now all over the United States. You said it's a manufacturer, but things are happening. We got to respect, we got to get crime controlled. Nothing to do with immigration. It's about crime. I don't agree with everything with immigration. I'm talking about crime. Only in the United States. Chicago is a very high profile city in the United States, and you got to get rid of the crime out of there. You got to get hold of it and bring it down, because it's past a boiling point. And here go the reason why people like this
in Illinois and in the city of Chicago, that we are not going to sit idly by to watch this wannabe dictator try to come into our state and into our city and try to just bring his chaos. He is a...
See, I'm tired of this. I'm talking about dictator. You guys are the dictators. The people in the cities your city is saying they want more support in the streets. There's thousands of police that you're trying to hire. So there's definitely a deficit. And then there's almost 3 dozen people that got shot over the week that the media's talking about, and it's crazy. One day, 19 people. Come on, and you saying that's not a problem? If I knew that many people, I would take my flight and go to Miami, go to DC, go to somewhere else, go to LA. I'll go anywhere else besides where there's a high crime rate. And you tell me there's not a problem. You're losing tourist dollars, I can imagine. You're losing people don't want to go. People don't want to be in situations where they're volatile. They want to be comfortable. They come on vacation. They want to travel to a tourist destination in the United States. They want to enjoy themselves. And this is what you're saying. There's no problem. Come on, you're the problem.
Weak man who wants to be the center of attention. And this is just another page out of his authoritarian playbook. And we will speak out and we will fight back and we will do everything that we can here in Illinois to protect our people.
And I assume that you are referring to what the governor described in the potential of National Guard troops in a city like Chicago. I do want to ask you, though, Washington, D.C.'s Mayor Muriel Bowser yesterday talked about some of the crime statistics here in Washington in light of the National Guard's presence, and she acknowledged that they have actually been pretty successful in preventing crime. And I'm wondering what you make of her assessments about the National Guard presence in a city like Washington, as it could happen in a place like Chicago.
Well, what I can speak to is what is actually happening in Chicago. And here in Chicago, crime is down. There's more work to do, certainly, and there will be, just like any city or town across the country. But we are making progress. We know that.
Straightforward lie. You just had an alderman that was to see Chicago Police Department said crime is up. We have monthly residents that's in high profile position. Crime is up. They want support. And then here you as a politician that coming on out of Chicago talking about crime is down. You have the same speaking points as the mayor, the governor. You guys, it's a unison. So you guys talk the same language. And we're seeing the report. But then when we talk to people on the streets, they're saying the total opposite. Who's lying? You that lives in got security details. The governor and the mayor got millions of dollars, or the people that's living in these neighborhoods that's being taxed out of the woodwork. $734 billion, $7 million deficit this year, and the school district. Come on, there got to be something done. I'm tired of these lies.
That the way that you address crime is by looking at the root causes, and it's not solved by having soldiers in the street. And that's what Donald Trump wants to do, cause chaos, and that's not going to be for the reason of.
No, we have realized in D.C. that's not true. The soldiers are going to be around, but they're going to relieve the stress of the Chicago police, so the Chicago police will focus on crime instead of focus on everything. Because you got police that's doing overtime because there's not enough Chicago police officers. This will help. The National Guard will help relieve a lot of the stress. And they know not to mess with the National Guard because then there's another policy come on. You hear the National Guard, now you're dealing with the military, the federal government. And that's when rains will come down from the heavens on your head. So if you want to go that route, hey, the government welcomes it. But that's not the case. Just know, Chicago, the president said that he'll be there next week. It's going to be there. So get ready. And the people of Chicago, get ready for a better downtown area, the city of Chicago, the urban areas. There will be not nobody pulling up, ramming a Foot Locker with a car and robbing it. You not see all these stores getting robbed, guns when we put on it, people shooting murderers in parks and community centers. Kids won't be getting killed and shot. Women won't be getting shot at an all-time high rate. Yeah, we'll see a difference once this takes place.
Promoting public safety, but it's for his own purposes. You know, if you really want to look at what people are asking for, they're asking for access to affordable health care. They're asking for affordable housing. They want to make sure they can put food on the table to feed their children, but it's not going to benefit anyone for the federal government and for Donald Trump to send troops to Chicago, federalized National Guard, with no coordination with our state, not something that we asked for. We have business community members, philanthropic leaders, faith leaders, and of course, elected officials and other community leaders who have been working on this issue of public safety collaboratively for a number of years. We're making progress, and what Donald Trump is trying to do is to just stoke fear, pit us against.
See, right there. If you just counter contradict your argument. We just seen stats in the last few years. That's been an uptick in crime. There's been an uptick in crime. So you just proved yourself to be wrong. So therefore, there's a need.
Each other and cause chaos, and we're not going to stand idly by and let it happen.
But I'm wondering if what Mayor Bowser said yesterday, I mean, even I was surprised by some of the numbers that she was talking about. I'm wondering if that's changed your view of this at all. The fact that a DC city mayor, a Democrat, has said that this has been a successful effort in the city.
To me, it's when you see the rise of authoritarianism, it is not about, to me, a successful effort where I will take my daughter, my 9-year-old, to school and she will see a tank or see people, armed guards walking down the street. I don't think it's a successful effort. When you
See, right there. I don't like. I'm sorry, guys. You see, she cannot get the cues. This is when you already have your talking part so drilled in. Basically, the news anchors can be kind of catch you. Okay, you're sounding like the mayor 20 some years days ago. Now you see the results of NASCAR and the change, and then the stats that back that change up. You can't be silly and ignorant enough to not recognize truth in its form with stats saying, okay, this is over 1,000 people that's been arrested, some repetitive because of the system in the lower courts. But still, they still rearrested. Still got arrested, got off the streets. You didn't have time. Now you have so many guns, so many shootings, so much stuff detoured. And this is stats. 87%, 87% jackies are down in DC. Come on. That's high crime. What do you think? Now that the mayor of of DC is acknowledging it. That's a wise, intelligent mayor recognizing the shift. And you won't even recognize that. So we already see where you're going to be, even when Trump come in, and that's going to come in for the 30-day period. You still going to be on the same hi hat kick. This is how you know you can dig your heels into a resolve into a situation where you're not making sense. I don't think you're able to carry out your duties all the way without a biased lens. If there's a better opportunity for the citizens of Chicago with the National Guard to relieve the local police to focus on high volume crimes and more high volume volatile crime areas. You tell me National Guard just wouldn't be a help right there. When they have to be downtown, okay, you ain't got to be downtown because you got 100 National Guards down there, all deterring crime. And they're they're gonna hopefully deputize them. So then it's going to be in a situation where they are automatically there. And now the police officers could go over to the south side or west side and be in these high contact environments where these crimes are happening, these parks, and where these shootings. And they could detour or catch it before it goes or stop it as it's going earlier and do more arrests. So there's all these opportunities for this. And this particular person is still saying no. The National Guard would not be a help. Trump movement would not be a help. This is the problem I have with this. It's too much. What is your opinion? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think.
see business owners, restaurants, and other small businesses who have armed guards patrolling the street. It's going to have an impact, just as it did in DC, by the way, on tourism. It's going to have an impact on their business community, and it's going to have an impact on the everyday lives of residents. It is not something that should be normalized. If we really want to focus on safer communities, that is work that we can do in collaboration. If the federal government and Donald Trump want to help address the issue of violence in Chicago or anywhere else, they should release the violence reduction money that they've been holding back, $800,000 that should be coming to the state of Illinois, which the Trump administration has held back. That would help us, but not just deciding unilaterally to come to our city and our state.
Lieutenant.
Well, that's not the case. That's what's going to happen. Chicago, the Trump movement will be there next week. It's been spoke to you as of today or tomorrow. The administration will be there. So get ready and get ready for residents of Chicago. Get ready for a better environment, a peaceful environment. You can walk with your kids down the streets now. There won't be no more of all that major jacking because, you'll be swiftly taken off the streets and put in jail. The federal government's not playing. This ain't got nothing to do with immigration. Let me make clear. Nothing. This is just crime. Chicago, 19 people got shot. Come on, guys. 3 people got killed. They're doing strong arm robberies right in front of you. And you saying you don't need no help? Chicago, you're up next. And I hope everything works well like D.C., where no police officer get killed or anything, no citizens get killed. It'd be peaceful demonstration, protection, and just deterrence of crime. And the people that just can't change, get them off the streets. Get them off the street. Don't need to be there. Junebug, Roro, all y'all, Peanut, all y'all gotta go. You gotta go. You don't want to do nothing with your life. You go on to Cook County. Go on to Cook County jail and Cook County prison, whatever the prison over there. That's where you really want to be. You don't want to be around regular, positive citizens. It's time for you to move on to where you need to go. If you disagree, agree, leave a comment down below. Let me know.